Good morning, everybody, and welcome. My name is Bill Nevin, and I'll be the moderator for all of our pre- and post-game press conferences for the NCAA Women's Basketball Tournament first and second round games here in Morgantown. Before we get started this morning, I'd like to go over a few housekeeping items and then review the protocol for how the practice day press conferences will work. I would ask that you please turn off or silence your cell phones. A reminder that flash photography is not permitted. We'll take questions first, followed by the head coach. We'll make some comments first, I should say, and then we'll take questions. If you have a question, please raise your hand. Emma will come around with the wireless mic. Please state your name and your affiliation. A reminder that questions should pertain to the upcoming game. You will be allowed one follow-up question. After we take all the questions from media members here in the room, we'll then take any from those joining us virtually on Zoom. I also want to note that the pool reporter for the tournament games here in Morgantown is Mr. John Raby from the Associated Press. We'll begin by welcoming the University of Kentucky. The Wildcats, coming in with a 23-10 record from the SEC, received an at-large bid to the tournament. This is Kentucky's 19th appearance in the NCAA championship, including its second straight appearance. Joining us this morning are student athletes Clara Strack and Tiani Key, as well as head coach Kenny Brooks. Coach Brooks, why don't you start us off with some general comments about making it into the tournament and also about your first-round matchup tomorrow against JMU.
Well, we're excited to be here, obviously, to get through a grueling conference schedule in the SEC, hit a little bit of adversity. But I really like where our team is, where they're playing, and we're excited. We're excited for the opportunities to lay in front of us. So we were just excited to be here.
All right, we'll open it up for questions now. Emma, who has the wireless microphone, will take your questions. Who would like to be first this morning? Right up here.
Coach, obviously you know a whole lot. I'll start with the players. Okay, so James Madison, give us a little bit of the scout on them and what you think of them and what do you guys got to do to pull out a victory.
I mean, yeah, they're a good team. I mean, to make it into the tournament, you have to be. So our focus has been just, playing our basketball, not taking any game for granted, going out playing hard. Every possession matters. So that's been our biggest focus and just, respecting our opponent. Every game presents its challenges. So just, locking in on what all the coaches say to us.
Yeah, I mean, just what she said. We're focusing on, obviously you don't know your opponent for a while, so you focus on yourself throughout this little break. And yeah, I think, like she said, every team in this tournament at this point is going to be a good basketball team. Every team's going to play really hard because it's you win or you go home. So I think we're excited for our matchup, and I think we're ready.
Follow up, Greg, for the coach.
Yeah, Coach, sort of the same thing then with you, JMU, a program you used to know really well, obviously. So I'm sure they've changed a lot since your days. So what do they look like now? Is it odd facing them?
No, it's not odd. I mean, it's obviously they're a very good basketball team. They're well coached. They have really good players. They have experienced players. Peyton McDaniel is a very tough, hard guard. And she's a fifth-year, I think, sixth-year kid. So she's got a lot of experience. Barnes is a graduate player. So they're going to come in. They're battle-tested. They understand it. They probably had a little bit of heartbreak leading up to this year, and then they got over the hump and they won a championship. So they fear no one. They played a really good schedule. And so we understand that the challenges that they present, and we're looking forward just to an opportunity to go out and to continue playing basketball.
All right, go right down here, Justin.
Justin Johnson with the Dominion Post for Clara. On the men's game, post players, it's really nothing to see big guys shoot from the outside. It's still kind of unique to see that on the women's game. So I'm kind of wondering, where did you develop your outside shooting, and was it something you've always had or something you had to work on, and what does that add to your game, being able to play inside and out?
Yeah, I mean, it's something we've worked on since I got on campus. I didn't really shoot outside in high school much, but since I got here, I've been shooting it consistently, and then this year and then last year at Kentucky, Coach Brooks has really put a lot of confidence in my shot and put a lot of trust in me shooting it. So I just take that, and when the opportunity's there, I do take that. And yeah, I think it just expands my game a little bit, gives it a little bit of a different look. So you have to kind of guard everywhere. So.
Right down here.
Spencer Ripchick with the Dominion Post. One of James Madison's strengths is defending the glass. How much of an emphasis did you guys put on rebounding heading into this matchup for either the players or the coach?
Rebounding is definitely something that we talked about a lot. That's something that I think we always talk about, though. We like to put a lot of pressure on the glass. We like to rebound. That's something that we always try to beat our opponents in, is our rebounding. So we definitely have talked about that a lot. Yeah.
Right down here.
This is for Clara and Tiani. This is Brad from College Sportscast. You guys have had a 2-week layoff. What have you been working on, and rest or whatever you guys need over the last 2 weeks?
Yeah, we had that rest, which is good. And then coming back, together as a team, we just been working on all the things that we needed to work on in every aspect, just us as a team staying together, and individuals as well, just keeping us sharp offensively and defensively, and just really locking in on the little things that may have slipped away from us, in the SEC play and stuff like that, or just in early games. So just really sharpening all around and just getting better, playing hard has been on our biggest focus.
Down here, just questions for the players at this point.
Kaden Gaylord-Day from WKYT in Lexington. For Claire and Tiani, going back to the rebounding thing, I believe JMU's top 15 in rebound margin. You all have, had a tough regular season going up against tons of teams who can rebound really well, obviously in the SEC. How did that schedule prepare you coming into this game in terms of, the battle on the boards, and, what's kind of your mindset going into the game knowing that you're going to have to crash the boards hard?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, the SEC, I think the SEC schedule kind of prepares you for anything for all these games. It's a really tough schedule. You don't have an easy night, so I think that does prepare you for the tournament. You have to take every single game seriously. You have to be ready to play every single night, and I think that's what the SEC helps with a lot. And then, like you said, the rebounding. I think that's a big part of just playing hard and refusing to lose. So I think that will help us with rebounding.
Yeah, absolutely. To second everything she said, honestly. And, knowing that we're a good rebounding team, too. We're a big team that, we get the boards offensively and defensively. So I think just having that toughness and that carryover, I think, has been a big focus for us.
Down here.
Phoenix Stevens, Kentucky Sports Radio. For the SEC tournament specifically, having to make those quick turnarounds day to day, how much help does that, and for preparing for the NCAA tournament, if at all, and what did you take away from that you can apply here?
Yeah, I mean, that definitely prepares you. Here you do get a nice day in between, obviously, but yeah, I think that helps you a lot. Teaches you to play through fatigue, teaches you to play through any little challenge that might present to you. And we're also playing fresh teams when we were already fatigued. So I think that all helps you learn, just play hard, play through anything, really.
Yeah, it helps you see, what you're really made of. When things are getting hard, when you're facing that, those second day legs or whatever it may be. Just how much you push through, how much as a team are you willing all to dig in. I think it just really allowed us to, come together even more and grow a lot from, all the things that we went through.
Last year, you guys were a regional host. This year, close in the fourth. Can you just kind of talk about? Obviously, the great advantage of hosting is you get to sleep in your own bed and be at home. Being on the road this year, can you just kind of talk about what the advantages, disadvantages are of hosting as opposed to traveling to a regional?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, we did host last year, and then my freshman year we hosted too. So both times didn't exactly go our way. So, I mean, I'm excited to do something new. Being on the road, I think something with being on the road also makes you, it's like a little more like serious. It's a little more of like a thing because you're in a hotel, you're on the road, everything's very like down, like you have a consistent schedule. So I think it does, obviously it has its, we don't have our home fans, like things like that. But I mean, I think there are, like you said, also advantages to playing on the road.
Yeah, exactly. Everything she said. I think one of the advantages as well is just, coming into somebody else's environment just really, adds that little edge to, like, you really, really want to, quiet the crowd. So I think it's going to be fun. We're super excited.
Caden Gaylord dating WKYT. Last year for the tournament, first game you win it by 1 point, second game you lose by 1 point. It's kind of, and obviously the tough schedule this year and all the close games this year. With the tournament last year, what did you all learn from that and take from that and kind of used it towards this year?
Yeah, I mean, like finishing out games, like that's something we've talked about a lot, like this year. You just have to play. You have to play every possession like it's the last possession of the game, I think, because your winning plays don't happen at the end of the game with a few seconds on the clock. They happen throughout the whole game, and if you can stack those throughout the game, then you'll be fine.
Any other questions for our student athletes? All right, we can excuse our student athletes. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And now we'll take questions here in just a moment for Coach Brooks. All right, who's first? Down here in front.
Phoenix Stevens, Kentucky Sports Radio. I hate to bring up bad memories, but last year you lost to a dangerous 5 seed in the NCAA tournament, and obviously I think you want to host, but Claire was just talking about how it's nice to kind of have a change of pace. Was there a part of you heading into this tournament that's like, well, I want to be this dangerous 5 seed and go ruin someone else's home court?
First, my original thought is I think that the NCAA should have super regionals, and I think that everything should be there. And you're talking to someone who has hosted the last 3 years, but you talk about the whole student-athlete experience. I think my first year that we played in an NCAA tournament, it was super regionals, and we went to Pittsburgh, I think it was, and there was 8 teams in the hotel in the city. It was a buzz. It was great. It was great. It's probably the best NCAA experience I had, other than going to the Final Four. But I just think that's my opinion. Now, building off of last year, obviously we had some tough games. This year we're coming on the road, and we just have to circle the wagon, so to speak. And this is a very tough venue. I've been in this venue before. We have tough opponents. It's very good basketball teams at this site. And I think that it'll be a really good showing for the weekend. But, just me and my experiences for the student athletes, I'm a big fan of the super regionals, kind of like what the men are doing. It just puts you like you're at an NCAA event. And I think that's what, you work all year. You work all year to get to this point, to make to the NCAA tournament. And, you want it to be an event. And sad to say, I think one of the best times I had, too, is when we went to San Antonio during COVID, and every team was in one place, and it was kind of like a really big AAU tournament or something. But just had really good buzz to it. But, we're going to come out here, and, last year, as you mentioned, we played against Kansas State, who were very similar to us this year because they went through the season and they lost one of their star players. And I think I said it back then, I didn't think that they were a 5 seed. I thought that they were really a 3 seed at worst, but because of not having one of their star players, they lost some games. They had to kind of keep afloat. They came to us as a 5 seed, and they were very good. We look to hope to do the same thing. We went through a year. I read articles all the time on ESPN, and they say we lost 5 out of 6 in January, but they never say that you didn't have Tiani Key. And that's a big part of what we do and how it was done. But nonetheless, we are where we are, and we're fortunate to be here, be playing, and we're going to give it our best.
Down here.
Hey, Coach Brad from College Sportscast. 5-12 seeds in the NCAA are kind of upset-minded seeds, seed matchups each time. So how do you portray that to your team and your players and the importance of just how hard they're going to come after you?
Yeah, we don't talk about seeds. If you look at it, I'm not in the committee selection, show. I have no idea how James Madison is a 12 seed. They did everything right. They played, some power fours. They went out. They won some of those games. They won, I think, like 12 in a row. I think they were a mid to low net rating. I don't know how they're a 12 seed. So we don't go out and talk about, hey, this is a 12 seed. They're going to be upset-minded. They're going to come out and they're going to play hard. We understand that. We know what they do. So we just really talk to our kids about being the best version of ourselves. And we're not talking about, hey, we're playing against a 12 seed, we're playing against whatever. James Madison is our opponent, and we got to make sure we go out there and we play the best of our ability so we can win a basketball game. But we don't talk about, another opponent's seeding.
Justin?
Hello, Coach. Justin Jackson with the Dominion Post. Welcome, Morgantown.
Thank you.
This is West Virginia's first time hosting a regional in over 3 decades. There's a certain buzz that comes with that. I'm assuming the first year you guys hosted at Virginia Tech might have been kind of a similar situation. Having gone through that first time as a host, is there anything that you can share with us on, was it crazy? Was it nerves? Was there things that maybe you wish you would have done differently? Things that popped up that you never expected? I mean, what's it like hosting that first regional for the
You're
first
going
time?
to be nervous as hell. There is an expectation that comes with it. It is. I mean, obviously, you get to sleep in your own bed. You get to, do things that are very familiar to you. But there is an expectation, a responsibility that you hold because you get a great crowd. They're rowdy. They come out, and sometimes you see the other team play freely, because they essentially have nothing to lose, and then you have everything to lose because you're playing in front of your home crowd. And so there is an expectation, there is a responsibility that comes with it. And I'll be very honest, we carried that weight, and it was like, okay, you got to win, you got to win, you got to win. So there are some nerves involved with it. And we're on the other side of it now this time, and so we're just going to come out and go play freely. But at the end of the day, it's just kind of like what Clara said. It's just you just got to will yourself to win. Whether you're hosting or whether you're the underdog, or so you just got to go out and play.
Over here in the back.
Hey, Coach. Connor Brogan, WHSV. I know it's a reunion of you getting to face Coach Hill once again after a decade of being on the same sideline together. Just have you guys had a chance to be able to catch up with one another since the selection was announced? And also just how have you seen kind of Coach O take over as a head coach throughout this past decade from when he first took over to now?
We shared a couple texts throughout the week, but nothing extensive, obviously. But he's done a really good job there, and James Madison is a wonderful school. It's a wonderful athletic program, and he's done his part to keep women's basketball afloat alongside football. Men's basketball has done well lately. All the other Olympic sports, but it's a wonderful school. And obviously you keep up with them as an alum. And you're very proud of what everybody's done there. And but as far as the competition, it's been 10 years. So 10 years since I've been there. Hell, I don't even know what I had for lunch yesterday. So you don't remember a whole lot about it, but you're very proud of what you were able to accomplish there. And a lot of people want to make a lot to do about this particular game with me and women's basketball, but I have just as many memories there playing on the men's side. Or my friends that I had when I was in college, so 10 years removed, it just really makes it another basketball game, and it really does. And I've coached against former assistants, I think 3 years ago, my first round opponent was my assistant, Sean Poppy, who was at Chattanooga at the time. So NCAA has a funny way of making that happen a lot. But it's 10 years removed, and I'm obviously proud as an alum of everything that's happened at James Madison. But tomorrow it'll be another game.
just to follow on that, I'm just curious if you've kind of kept a tab on Coach O just throughout this decade from when he first took over to now, what you've kind of seen in his growth as a head coach as well?
To be honest with you, I mean, like I said, just from afar, I've seen it, and he's done a really good job, winning games. But I've been kind of busy doing my own thing too, so and raising kids and doing a lot of other stuff. So, but I'm proud. Like I said, as an alum, I'm very proud of everything that's gone on there, and he's done a good job. And we talk from time to time. Kayla Cooper Williams, his assistant coach, she came down to Kentucky this summer, and she watched us work out some post players, and I coached her for a year. So there's always going to be a connection.
Right here.
Kaden Gaylord Day, WKYT. Coach, kind of piggybacking off that, just what is something that you learned at JNU that you have used throughout the years to Virginia Tech and even until now?
Man, you don't have enough time for me to answer that question. Again, I know people want to talk about, my time as a women's basketball coach there, but it goes so further back. I mean, I was a skinny little scared kid from Waynesboro, Virginia, who went to James Madison, and everybody there just welcomed me in. It helped make me who I am today. And my daughters were born on campus. I got married on campus. I coached on the men's side for a long time, and then I became the women's basketball coach. So if you want to talk about things that I've taken from there that have made me who I am at Virginia Tech and at Kentucky, we got to go way back, because that's home. My in-laws live there. I have family who still live there. That's my school. When they went to the CFP, I mean, I was repping JMU stuff just like all my other alumni, group text and all that kind of stuff. And, so it's where I started. It's where I started. I lived in Harrisonburg for longer than I lived in Waynesboro, Virginia. I lived in Waynesboro. Like, my mom will tell me, hey, do you remember such and such? We're talking about Waynesboro. And I'm like, no, because it was the first 17 years of my life. But if somebody asked me about somebody in Harrisonburg, I'm like, oh, yeah, I remember them, because that was the next chapter in my life. So I learned so much there that I've taken. The lessons that I learned there as a player, as a student, and as a coach have really helped me become who I am today. And it will always be home. And, it's where I grew up.
Let's go with Cody here.
Hi, Coach. Cody Nesper, Gold Blue Nation. The other three teams here all won their conference tournament. So what does your guys' mindset have to be? The other three teams kind of have momentum and they're battle tested and, all that.
Do you know what league we played in? Trust me, I've been on the other end when we won conference championships, whether I was at a mid-major or at a Power Four. That momentum that you have going in, you won, and, it feels good. It feels good. But when you turn the page and you go to the next chapter, it has nothing to do with anything. It really doesn't. And as they are battle tested and their plight and what they were able to do, we were battle tested too. The last game we played was against South Carolina. The game before that, we had to play number 22 Georgia. And so everyone's battle tested in their own right. And I take nothing away from it, because it is great momentum, feel good that you won your last game heading into the NCAA tournament, but it really has no bearing when the ball is tipped up.
Right here.
Kaden Gaylord Day, WKYT. Going back to the Virginia connection, Asia Boone, last year she played for Liberty. You kind of saw her in the tournament there. Obviously, she didn't get to play much. She got hurt. But, she kind of mentioned how you all, through connections, through that Virginia connection, you kind of connected that way. And obviously she has stepped up this season in a big role when injuries came about. Just so this is kind of like a redo for her, getting to play, for real in the tournament. What are you expecting from her? What have you seen from her this year? And, how big has she been for this team?
She's been huge for us, and, very proud of her and glad that we're giving her an opportunity to come out and play this year. Last year, she played against us, I think, maybe like 2 or 3 minutes, and she hurt her foot. But you go back throughout the season, she's been everything and more for us. We've asked her to do things she wasn't really comfortable doing, playing some backup point guard, and then we inserted her into the starting lineup. I think mid-January, and she's really helped us get off to great starts. She adds an element to us that really makes us hard to guard. When you have her on one side and Amelia Hassett on the other side, and it just really opens up a lot of things for Tiani and for Clara down low, and for Tony having driving lanes. And so I'm very proud of her and what she's done, but she's been tremendous for us. And for her to play at Liberty and to come here and almost have identical stats, for a team that's ranked in the top, I don't know what we're ranked now, 15, 16, that's really huge. And I'm very proud of her, and she's had a great year for us.
Coach, on Clara's outside shooting ability, do you remember what kind of sparked the idea that said, oh, hey, maybe we should take a look at that? And then how much of a difference does it make having a 6'5" post player who can also stretch the floor the way she does? Because that's, to me, it seems unique in the women's game.
Yeah, when we were at Tech, I remember the first weekend they came in. It was 5 freshmen, and they were all just kind of walking around. It was a Saturday night, I think it was, and they were all in the gym just messing around. And everybody else that we recruited were guards. And so they were all out there just jacking up three-point shots, and she was right there with them, just jacking them up. And I just kept noticing to myself, I'm like, well, she's making as many as the others. And I said, we're gonna add that to her game. And didn't do a lot at Tech just because she played behind Liz Kitley. And then when we got here, it's something we really honed in on. I've taken a beating sometimes because people say that I let her shoot too many threes, but it's part of the bigger picture. And part of the bigger picture was that, Clara's going to play in the WNBA one day. And if she's going to play and stick, and I want her to be a really good player in the W, she's going to have to learn how to shoot from the outside. So we made a commitment to it and to shoot it. And I work with her every day, and we shoot every day. We shoot. And last year and this year was really, just to get her used to shooting them in the game. And, like I said, people were like, why you let her shoot so many? And I think I even told the local people, I said, she's going to make 4 or 5 in a game. And so she got me off the hook in the Georgia game when she made 5, yeah. And so, but she shoots as well as anyone. It's just a matter of her learning how to shoot them in the game. She's starting to get more and more comfortable. And when she can do that, it really spreads things open for us. And it's hard to put a traditional center on her because they can't chase her out on the perimeter. And then you try to put a smaller player on her, and then she takes them inside. So it's just her versatility is continuing to grow, and that's just a part of it.
Here.
Coach, I know you talked about JMU's seeding, but when you've been able to look at the film throughout this past week, what's kind of stood out to you? What challenges do the Dukes present?
They're a good basketball team. As I said, Peyton McDaniel is a really good player. She's big. She's physical. I think that, we have size that can play around on the perimeter, which may be different than some of the things that they've seen. But she's going to present challenges for us. Barnes is a really hard guard. Robinson, they're good, and they're experienced. They've got kids who have played at the Power 4 level, and then they transfer back. But, they're a good basketball team, and I know you guys talked about their rebounding, which is, tenacious, but we're a good rebounding team too. And if you're going to survive in the SEC, you've got to be a good rebounding team. And so we understand that, and we know that, and they're going to come out and they're going to be hungry, just like we're going to be hungry. So I think it's going to be a really good game.
Right here.
Hey, Coach, Brad from College Sportscast. You have 5 seniors on this team. Have you seen a sense of urgency leading up to the final March Madness?
Yeah, you always see it. You see it in different ways. Sometimes you see it in a negative light because sometimes late February they see the light at the end of the tunnel, and so sometimes they get a little sad, and you got to reel them back in. This has been a really good group. They've been a fun group all year. They've been resilient. They've been willing to listen, willing to learn. And they understand the magnitude. I think last year's disappointment that we had it really was eye-opening for them. And so they really are just trying to do whatever they can to be ready for whoever we're going to be playing so that they can put their best foot forward. So I'm excited for them, and we'll see what happens.
Any final questions for Coach Brooks? All right, very good.
All right, thanks,
Coach,
guys.
thank you very much. Good luck.